for maps, if I am given the latitude and longitude, then it will plot those points on the US map. Now for latitude and longitude, the column names have to be named accordingly so that it recognizes it that way. So it can be called as latitude or lat, longitude or longe or lon. It recognizes those automatically. And then once you have those columns, you can just drag whichever attribute you want to map onto the US map, and it will map it. In our case, we don't have latitude, longitude, but we do have the state value and the FIPS. So we are going to use you can either map with the state boundary or with the county boundary. So let us first, which one would you all like? Let me see if I need the value from the other one.
You can do the state first.
Yeah, let's do the state first because I don't know if I needed information from the merged data for the county one. Okay, let's do the state one. For the boundary, you can either name it boundary or boundaries. It will automatically determine it that way. So let's get rid of this. Let's add an attribute. So click on the blue bar, click on the plus, and you can name it boundaries or boundary. But if I name it as just XYZ, then I can go to edit attribute property. And in the type, I can select it to be boundary. Then it will recognize it as boundary. But let us just rename it as boundary. So now it is automatically determined to be boundary. Okay, there is a question. It does not show me some options in the ruler tab. So that will depend on, for instance, if you are plotting a bar chart, you will not be able to see the connecting the lines option, etc. So if you're doing a scatter plot, then those options will become visible. So what options are visible in the ruler tab will depend on what kind of a graph you have. Okay. Okay. Click on this insert function, lookup functions. So edit formula, insert function, lookup functions, and you have lookup boundary. So that is what we are going to select. So our lookup boundary, we will change the boundary set to US state boundaries, which is predetermined in CODAP. And the boundary key is coming from our data set. So the boundary set, if I select the insert value, you can see that these were not part of my data set. I have congressional boundaries, I have county boundaries, I have something called Puma boundaries, state boundaries. We are selecting state boundaries for now. And our state boundaries will be determined by the state attribute that we have in our data set. State. And apply. And you can see it has put the map or the boundary map for each state. Okay. So once we have that, you could have also just typed that whole thing in. Now let's go and select the map tool. Select the map tool.
It takes time now. Yeah, going to load.
Let's meanwhile pick what we want to, there you go. So let's pick what we want to plot meanwhile. Let me get rid of one. I clicked on it twice. So let's see, what do we want to plot? If you want to plot, say, percentage insured, so you can first zoom into the state. I mean, zoom into our US portion of the map so that we can, okay, there we go. Okay. Maybe I will. And let's say I was looking at percentage insured. So drag it and release it in the map. And it's as simple as that. So now this one, it treated it as a categorical variable, so the colors are distinct. That doesn't give us much information in this case. So go and treat it as numeric. When you treat it as numeric, you are going to get a gradation, and it does take a while. So this is another issue with CODAP, is the memory intensive nature of it. So this does take a while. So what I prefer doing is to change it to numeric here before I drag it into the map. That way this time is at least saved. So let me try it again. Let me close this map. And okay, so while that is loading, click on this, attribute properties, and change the type to numeric and apply. So now I can drag the insured, percentage insured, and release it here. Oh, it is not percentage, it's number insured, I think. I don't know which one I grabbed. Okay. Okay, so this is an issue with CODAP, especially when we are dealing with maps. I don't know if any of you have encountered this already. It also depends on what other things are running on your system. So that is why it is a good idea to remind the students to save their work periodically. I pulled the wrong column, sorry. This is percentage insured, and I think I pulled in number insured, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the percentage insured is what I have made as, let me be careful when I pull in.